When you talk about our motherland Uganda, the pearl of Africa, you cannot fail to smile because of the smile that fills the faces of the citizens. Our nice good weather and nature that sustains us all, that enables us all to continue each in their own way, because we are all different, even according to each individual's work. But what joins us to become one person is the sweetness from the flavored drink Hallelujah Jingati drink and Hallelujah Tamarind drink. The flavor that quenches your thirst while at the same time treating and healing your body because it is 100% natural. Enjoy the drink that has got the tamarind juice in it. Made by Hallelujah Reflexology, Healthy Solutions and Nutritional Research Center Limited. Get yourself a bottle of Hallelujah from all shops around.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Happy National Heroes Day to all you, our fellow Ugandans out there. You are a hero in your own way, and even if we don't mention you, I want you to know it. If you have contributed quite something huge to this country, actually, it doesn't even have to be huge. Big or small, we recognize it, just so that in one way or another, it will definitely contribute to us as Uganda. 9th of June 2022, a Thursday right here. Good Morning Uganda. We are definitely here to make sure that you are up and running, even if you're not getting into your work, your everyday schedule, because it's a national public holiday. Well, at least you can know what's happening around you. And I must say, today being the National Heroes Day, definitely there are people who are going to walk away champions and winners, and I'm talking about the people who will be getting those special medals that will be awarded to them by, of course, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, recognizing their work that they have contributed in different and several other ways. Yes, honor is very important, and when it's recognized, it even goes a way ahead. My name is Philomena Mastiko, and it is a full house over here with Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono, and Mollen Kenyena. Maybe just to start off with you, Mollen, happy National Heroes and good morning.
Well, a happy National Heroes Day to you and Robert, and of course I want to say that to our viewers. It's a good morning. It's a public holiday, and a lot of people right now are not in office, so you get to be at home and enjoy the day, and also count on the fact that UBC will of course be giving you all the updates and of course the proceedings of what will be happening with the celebrations. And when we talk about National Heroes Day, yes, we do recognize the fact that NRA did take on a huge battle, and of course that decision to make sure that Uganda is in a stable, peaceful place that we have today, and those are the heroes that we do recognize. But over time, we've also had a lot of people that have come in to make sure that this country is in a good place. And for today, I wanted to pick up my heroes. Personally, I want to recognize the security officers that guard our homes, the security guards. While we are sleeping, these people do that Monday to Monday, every night, to make sure that we are safe. Not just homes, but they do guard other facilities of national importance. And to me, those are also heroes, and I want to recognize them for today. But also, Philomena, if you look at the list of the people, at least some of the prominent figures that will be getting medals today, I say they are really, really, really deserving of that. And one I would want to mention is Joel Kachira, who is being recognized for having given that land to government to construct a health center 3 in Shema district. That is a hero right there, for you to just give out your land. Like, okay,
not anybody can actually give out their land right now. It's not something you can
That medal is well deserved for Joel Kachira, and I know a lot of people who will be getting those medals as well. Very well deserving.
Well, good morning, Robert, and happy National Heroes Day.
Good morning, Mastiko. Good morning, Mollen, and of course, our viewers. Thank you so much for waking up with us on this special day, because today marks exactly 38 years since the first NRA, that is rebels by then, were executed by the government. That was the UNRA forces. And this was at Kikandwa in Luwero district. Now, these people were killed for a cause because they had accepted to participate in a war that was declared by then the current president of Uganda, Museveni, to fight the government that had become a problem to the people. Extrajudicial killings, like actually what happened, and many others. So we celebrate. It is because of those people and others that today we boast of the peace we have, we boast of the economic status we have achieved, we boast of a lot of things, because even when it meant many of them taking that decision when it was so risky. One told me it wasn't like these days, where you would wake up and you hit the streets protesting, where you'd go in an election and you throw stones at police.
Yes.
Obote's government was not that easy.
So there is quite a significant difference between then and now.
So risky.
Yes.
So risky. Even to be labeled a rebel. It wasn't like these days where you're arrested, taken to court, sijui this, then you have sirens moving, no jam for you to get fast. It was a very daring situation. And they did. And among the most notable is Lutamaguzi Babumba. This is the man who was the village chairperson of Chikandwa by then. And also he was doing so much in terms of recruiting people, and also because he knew that place very well, guiding rebels within that area. So we celebrate those people, and of course many others that over a time the committee set up has been able to identify, and they will be getting medals. Of course, we have about 17,000 plus people that have received medals as heroes of this country, but in different categories. So it's a reason to celebrate.
Well, indeed, this year His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected to be giving out 100 medals, and also one of the few heroes that will be receiving one of these medals has actually got quite very many Ugandans talking. That is Fred Enanga. Now, we'll be giving you the reasons why he actually deserves this medal. And I mean, you will find it well-deserved, especially for him. Now, while we are celebrating heroes, everybody who has come through in their honor to contribute to the country, I also want to let you know that when it comes to the roads and the accidents, the carnages that we have been registering, they've been quite on such a high. And because of this, we have seen the Traffic Department of Police come through to, you know, issue out very strict guidelines to make sure they manage these accidents. But also another development that has come through is that the government of Uganda has also decided to get back into the system of having the speed governors, especially when it comes to the public service vans and all these other vehicles that carry property and luggage. I don't know. This was quite, if you remember a few years back, it had become a problem, but it was very helpful. And it went back down on the law, but right now, looking at us, it's getting back into the system. Maybe just to find out from you, Mollen, do you think this would actually help in reducing the number of accidents on the roads?
Well, absolutely, because we do know that the system of speed governor actually puts drivers on tension. Because if you know that it is there, even when you feel like you're going to be speeding, somehow in your mind you don't want to be faulted for the fact that you have a speed governor system working. So I think this is going to help out. However, Ugandans have a habit of violating some of the things that are put across to reduce accidents on the road. Now, this is going to have to take more than government enforcing it, but to also all the drivers to be able to be respectful, and because they violate. That has been there, because even the ones that have been in place to make sure that we reduce accidents, drivers still violate that. But I do know that it's a good move, and police should be able to emphasize on that. Maybe we'll actually reduce on the number of accidents that has been rising recently in the country.
Well, indeed, we cannot go without appreciating all the efforts that are coming in from all directions, and it clearly shows you how severe this problem had actually become, or is at right now as we speak in our country. And speaking of our country, yesterday during the plenary sessions, the parliamentary plenary sessions, the Speaker of Parliament did come out to say that all the eight of the bills that had been passed by Parliament have actually been assented to by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and there are quite a number of them, but just a few of them. We have the electricity bill, the Electricity Amendment Act of 2022. We have the Income Tax Amendment Act of 2022. The list is endless, so just in case you never knew.
You know what excited me most?
What excited
the
you most,
landlords
Robert?
and tenants.
I had a feeling this excited you most, Robert. Why?
When you go downtown, to be honest, the tenants have faced extreme exploitation.
Yes.
By the landlords. From paying in a foreign currency, when the dollar depreciates, they want local currency. You see, when it rises, now they want to pay in dollars.
Yes.
They have been taking these people that they build these buildings for people to occupy them and
Yes.
do business. But there is a way they have been taking them like they don't make any sense. A person pays, you don't get instead of getting a clear receipt, they get a business card, write on their number and sign, then put maybe a star to show you've paid.
Yes.
They have been dodging tax. They have been really, the few, you know, these arcades, these buildings, if you go downtown, the business buildings, are owned by a few people.
Yes.
That's why they tell you the whole Kampala is owned by, these buildings are owned by
specific
maybe
number
10
of people.
Yes.
And specific names.
Yes.
Specific names. But they're occupied by millions of people that come to earn a living. In the lockdown, the way these were treated.
Oh, yes.
They have not been working, but these were demigods. For me, if you're not paying 6 months ahead, for me, I'm confiscating. So the business community, Kasita, Uganda, had craved, had prayed that one time they wake up when there is a law, and the president will thank him for having us assented to this. We hope it will bring justice and fairness.
Well, the list still goes on. We have the Appropriation Act 2022, the Value Added Tax Amendment Act of 2022. Well, you need to go and get into read into it and see how that helps you as a Ugandan. Do not deprive yourself of all this information, because it could actually help you in one way or another. Well, we'll also take you through our stories that did run, of course, yesterday, and both internationally and locally.
And I couldn't miss starting with President Museveni assenting to the bills, where President Museveni signed into law 8 bills, including the Electricity Amendment Bill 2022, the Landlord and Tenants Act 2022, Stamp Duty Amendment 2022. The Electricity Amendment Bill 2022 that has been passed into law is going to see removal of monopoly of an agency like UETCL and UEDCL as the single buyers and suppliers with a license to purchase all electricity generated in Uganda.
Well, in another story, the Prime Minister, the government of Uganda has developed the Disaster Risk Management Plan and Standard Operating Procedures as a directive of His Excellency, the President of Uganda. Now that caters for cash transfers for persons who are at risk of drought, floods and landslides, among others.
And we now move to Parliament, the Costa Say, where Uganda Land Commission Secretary Barbara Imoro has continued to skip the summons by Parliamentary Committee of Commission, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, following investigations into the 10.6 billion supplementary cash bonanza, which was politically awarded to Uganda Land Commission to clear what has been found out as ghost claimants. Recently, the former Minister for Lands, Betty Kamya, appeared before COSASE, distanced herself from the fraud. The Auditor General's report of June 2021 queries funds to the tune of 10.6 billion, which were allocated to Uganda Land Commission on orders of former Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Betty Olive Namisango Kamya. The current Minister for Kampala recently appeared before Parliament Committee of Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, COSASE, and denied being part of the fraud. Among 6 unknown ghost claimants include Awan Mugicha Godfrey, who received 1.45 billion, revealed to COSASE that the Prohibited Land Commission chairperson, Biencha Nyakaisiki, wanted to cut 50% of the money he received. COSASE, chaired by Nakawa West Member of Parliament Joe Senyonyi, tasked the relevant authorities, including Interpol, to expedite the production of the Secretary of Uganda Land Commission, Barbara Imoro, who is believed to have escaped from the country through Kenya, putting the investigations at a standstill. The committee has summoned the family of the late Kiosa Rabukorukuru to appear and explain how they appeared on the list of 6 beneficiaries in the 10.6 supplementary cash bonanza. Beatrice Nyakaisiki Biencha, who also recently appeared before the same committee, revealed that Uganda Land Commission did not in any way initiate the 10.6 billion supplementary budget.
Away from that, in the light of COVID-19 pandemic threat in Uganda, the Ministry of Health, KCCA and the leadership of Nakasero Market have chosen to conduct a mobile exam of market vendors and residents as well as city dwellers in the Central Business Center. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with KCCA and leadership of Nakasero Market, have put in place a mobile checkup and awareness strategy to determine the prevalence of COVID-19 among Nakasero Market residents. According to Muchibi Richard, the chairperson Nakasero Market, the KCCA equipped them with 12 medics to help them deal with their vendors who have acquired the COVID-19 vaccine to larger levels. Mongore John Bryan, a laboratory personnel at Kisenyi Health Center 4, said that they have been on the surveillance and have confirmed some cases in their checkup operations.
And moving on to the international stories, Nason Joaquin Garcia, the leader of the La Luz del Mundo mega church, has been sentenced in Los Angeles court to 16 years. Garcia, 53, pleaded guilty last week to 3 counts of sexually abusing girls from his congregation. His plea deal means his sentence is considerably shorter than the life imprisonment he could have faced had he been found. To his followers, Nason Joaquin Garcia is known as the Apostle. A fundamentalist Christian organization, La Luz del Mundo, meaning the light of the world in Spanish, was founded in Mexico in 1926 by Nason Joaquin Garcia's grandfather, Eusebio Joaquin Gonzalez. The church influence has spread in recent years and is strong in parts of California that have large Garcia often visited. He was arrested at Los Angeles airport in 2019 along with 2 of his female followers as they arrived. The church says it has baptized more than 5 million people worldwide, but independently verified followers are hard to come by. And moving on to Trump, adult children to testify in New York fraud probe in July. Donald Trump and 2 of his adult children, Donald Trump Jr. and Ivanka Trump, have agreed to testify in investigations into the former U.S. president's business practices. The Trump's testimony could last through the following week, according to an argument with a State Attorney General Genesis investigating whether the Trump organization misled leaders and tax authorities.
The deal for the Trumps to testify came more than 6 months after James first issued a subpoenas if offer in court. Last month, an intermediate state appeal court denied the Trump's bid to avoid testimony in James's probe. Trump, who is 75 years old, and his son and daughter, both in their 40s, had argued that testifying in the civil probe, their words could be used in a related criminal investigation led by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. Separately, a New York State judge ruled in a virtual hearing on Wednesday that Trump must send gem-tips about their policies for retaining or destroying records. Now moving on to TikTok, it is fueling hate speech ahead of Kenyan polls. TikTok users in Kenya are being shown videos that are abusive, incite violence, or are outright fake, according to a new research. The findings have found that the social network failed to flag and moderate content on the election. The study was conducted by Odanga Madung, a research at the Mozilla Foundation. It identified more than 130 videos linked to 33 accounts that contained hate speech, manipulated images and sound, as well as political disinformation. They include a fake television news bulletin and a fake documentary. The videos have been viewed more than 4 million times collectively and were still not flagged as the study was being conducted. The research further points out that TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, is currently the most downloaded app in Kenya. Mr. Madung said political disinformation on TikTok, in violation of the platform's own policies, was stirring up a highly volatile political landscape following disputed elections in the late 2007. Again, some 1,200 people were killed and more than 500,000 fled their homes. Now, in their official response prohibits election disinformation. Fortune Mwili Sibanda, the head of public policy and government relations at TikTok in Africa, added that the platform was working with accredited fact checkers.
Needed for climate disasters has risen more than 800% in 20 years. Now, this is funding by the UN climate disaster, which appeals that has soared by more than 800% in 20 years as global heating takes hold. But only about half of it is being met by rich countries, according to a new report by Oxfam. Last year was the third costliest on record for extreme weather events such as droughts, floods and wildfires, with total economic cost estimated at $329 billion, nearly double the total aid given by donor nations. Now, while poor countries appealed for 63 to 75 billion in emergency humanitarian aid over the last 5 years, they only received 35 to 42 billion leaving a shortfall that Oxfam condemned as a piecemeal and painful inadequate. As diplomats sit down in Bonn for the first session of climate talks on loss and damage, costs related to all climate destruction, Oxfam Chief Executive Director described the finance gap as unacceptable. He said rich countries are not only failing to provide sufficient humanitarian aid when weather-related disasters hit, but they are also failing to keep their promise to provide $100 billion a year to help developing countries adapt to the changing climate, and blocking calls for finance to help them recover from impacts such as land that has become unfarmable and infrastructure that has been damaged.
As we're headed towards the inspirational song, just to let you know that it's very important for you to engage in our conversations, and we pick from you, especially on your thoughts, and we share them with the rest of our entire Good Morning Uganda family. Now, this morning, we want to know, since we're celebrating the National Heroes Day here in Uganda,
definitely everybody has their own hero, and we want to know from you this year, who is your hero? Share with us who you consider your hero or your heroine, and the reason why you think they are your heroes and your heroines. Who is your hero this year? Of course, use the hashtag UBCGMU, and you can also send us a text message, or you can even send us a WhatsApp message, and the number is 0709-602-592. Speaking of heroes and heroines, of course, I think Robert has something very great to say, and this one may not be an individual, but it would be something that would consider our hero in this 2022. Robert.
Well, I know I'm going to be a hero to a number of people.
Yes.
Because every morning I advise them to take these drinks. And what comes in, many have told me their visits to physicians have tremendously reduced, so they are saving so much. And well, I welcome being your hero this year. However, this is the magic that leads to that. Hallelujah Jinga tea and Hallelujah tamarind drink. What these do is they boost your immune system. They are not treatment, but they boost your immune system. And what does that mean? That you rarely fall sick, and you can spend a year without visiting a doctor. And then, why not consider me your hero? Good morning.
Well, there you go. The man is sharing his words of wisdom, and maybe it's. I think he deserves the medal. I mean, the medal would come in handy right now.
Need to be decorated.
All right, we'll go in. Today being a Thursday, we're throwing it back a little, taking you down back down the years, and of course, getting ourselves inspired from some of these great musicians that did come through with amazing music. And when we get back, we'll be getting into the Good Morning Uganda newsreel. Thereafter, you'll also be having the traffic situation, and of course, the updates will be coming in from yours truly, and Mollen will also be here to give more in relation to the weather and climate updates, and the weather forecast as well. She'll be telling you today, seeing that we'll be celebrating. I hope it doesn't rain, Mollen. It's my prayer. I saw the drizzles in the morning, and I was thinking maybe this is a blessing. This, you know what they say, the relationship between drizzles and rains on a special day like this
when
one.
you don't stay in well,
I think it's like a superstitious belief. Scientifically, I don't believe
I just want to be very optimistic about this.
My science does not bring it up, so I am not believing in it. However, I'll let people take it. Yeah, go with the belief.
In our village, when a great person died,
yes,
it had to rain. And if he was really useful to the community, those prominent people, it would rain cats and dogs. When there was a wedding of a prominent person,
yes,
it would rain. Christmas, it was almost a culture. It has to rain.
Even if it wasn't, by the way, a prominent person, Robert, for as long as it's a wedding or somebody has passed on and rain comes through, we consider that as a blessing. We still do, some of us.
I think it would even be, sometimes it would be coincidence, but the fact that people want to make it feel like, you know, it's okay to rain, so they attach it to saying that, you know, it means goodwill and all that.
I'm not a scientist.
Almost it would be coincidence.
But I'm told that even you scientists believe that there is a force. You know, science reaches some level and you're like, there's that.
There is, yes.
There's something you believe beyond science.
No. Scientists don't believe anything beyond science.
We give you the medicine, but it's...
This argument will never be put to bed. Science versus tradition or culture or personal beliefs. Mollen will always be on the side of science, whilst me and Robert will always be on the other side. But I know we have a meeting ground somewhere. Well, we'll be back right after this short commercial break. Good morning, Uganda.
Live from UBC
running, even if you're not getting into your work, your everyday schedule, because it's a national public holiday, well, at least you can know what's happening around you. And I must say, today being the National Heroes Day, definitely there are people who are going to walk away champions and winners, and I'm talking about the people who will be getting those special medals that will be awarded to them by, of course, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, recognizing their work that they have contributed in different and several other ways. Yes, honor is very important, and when it's recognized, it even goes a way ahead. My name is Philomena Mastiko, and it is a full house over here with Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono, and Mollen Kenyena. Maybe just to start off with you, Mollen, happy National Heroes and good morning.
Well, a happy National Heroes Day to you and Robert, and of course, and say that to our viewers. It's a good morning. It's a public holiday, and a lot of people right now are not in office, so you get to be at home and enjoy the day, and also count on the fact that UBC will, of course, be giving you all the updates and, of course, the proceedings of what will be happening with the celebrations. Now, when we talk about National Heroes Day, yes, we do recognize the fact that NRA did take on a huge battle, and, of course, that decision to make sure that Uganda is in a stable, peaceful place that we have today, and those are the heroes that we do recognize. But over time, we've also had a lot of people that have come in to make sure that this country is in a good place. And for today, I wanted to pick up my heroes. Personally, I want to recognize the security officers that guard our homes, the security guards. While we are sleeping, these people do that Monday to Monday, every night, to make sure that we are safe. Not just homes, but they do guard other facilities of national importance. And to me, those are also heroes, and I want to recognize them for today. But also, Philomena, if you look at the list of the people, at least some of the prominent figures that will be getting medals today, I say they are really, really, really deserving of that. And one I would want to mention is Joel Kachira, who is being recognized for having given that land to government to construct a health center in Shema district. That is a hero right there, for you to just give out your land. Like, okay,
not anybody can actually give out their land right now. It's not something you can
That medal is well deserved for Joel Kachira, and I know a lot of people who will be getting those medals as well. Very well deserving.
Well, good morning, Robert, and happy National Heroes Day.
Good morning, Mastiko. Good morning, Mollen, and of course, our viewers. Thank you so much for waking up with us on this special day, because today marks exactly 38 years since the first NRA, that is rebels by then, were executed by the government. That was the UNRA forces. And this was at Kikandwa in Luwero district. Now, these people were killed for a cause because they had accepted to participate in a war that was declared by then the current president of Uganda, Museveni, to fight the government that had become a problem to the people. Extrajudicial killings, like actually what happened, and many others. So we celebrate. It is because of those people and others that today we boast of the peace we have, we boast of the economic status we have achieved, we boast of a lot of things, because even when it meant many of them taking that decision when it was so risky. One told me it wasn't like these days, where you would wake up and you hit the streets protesting, where you would go in an election and you throw stones at police. Obote's government was not that easy.
So there is quite a significant difference between then and now.
So risky. So risky. Even to be labeled a rebel. It wasn't like these days where you're arrested, taken to court, sijui this, then you have sirens moving, no jam for you to get fast. It was a very daring situation. And they did, and among the most notable is Lutamaguzi Babumba. This is the man who was the village chairperson of Chikandwa by then, and also he was doing so much in terms of recruiting people, and also because he knew that place very well, guiding rebels within that area. So we celebrate those people, and of course many others that over a time the committee set up has been able to identify, and they will be getting medals. Of course, we have about 17,000 plus people that have received medals as heroes of this country, but in different categories. So it's a reason to celebrate.
Well, indeed, this year His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni is expected to be giving out 100 medals, and also one of the few heroes that will be receiving one of these medals has actually got quite very many Ugandans talking. That is Fred Enanga. Now, we'll be giving you the reasons why he actually deserves this medal. And I mean, you will find it well-deserved, especially for him. Now, while we are celebrating heroes, everybody who has come through in their honor to contribute to the country, I also want to let you know that when it comes to the roads and the accidents, the carnages that we have been registering, they've been quite on such a high. And because of this, we have seen the Traffic Department of Police come through to, issue out very strict guidelines to make sure they manage these accidents. But also another development that has come through is that the government of Uganda has also decided to get back into the system of having the speed governors, especially when it comes to the public service vans and all these other vehicles that carry property and luggage. I don't know. This was quite, if you remember a few years back, it had become a problem, but it was very helpful. And it went back down on the law, but right now, looking at us, it's getting back into the system. Maybe just to find out from you, Mollen, do you think this would actually help in reducing the number of accidents on the roads?
Well, absolutely, because we do know that the system of speed governor actually puts drivers on tension. Because if you know that it is there, even when you feel like you're going to be speeding, somehow in your mind you don't want to be faulted for the fact that you have a speed governor system working. So I think this is going to help out. However, Ugandans have a habit of violating some of the things that are put across to reduce accidents on the road. Now, this is going to have to take more than government enforcing it, but to also all the drivers to be able to be respectful, and because they violate. That has been there, because even the ones that have been in place to make sure that we reduce accidents, drivers still violate that. But I do know that it's a good move, and police should be able to emphasize on that. Maybe we'll actually reduce on the number of accidents that has been rising recently in the country.
Well, indeed, we cannot go without appreciating all the efforts that are coming in from all directions, and it clearly shows you how severe this problem had actually become, or is at right now as we speak in our country. And speaking of our country, yesterday during the plenary sessions, the parliamentary plenary sessions, the Speaker of Parliament did come out to say that all the eight of the bills that had been passed by Parliament have actually been assented to by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and there are quite a number of them, but just a few of them. We have the electricity bill, the Electricity Amendment Act of 2022. We have the Income Tax Amendment Act of 2022. The list is endless, so just in case you never knew.
You know what excited me most?
What excited
the
you most, Robert?
And tenants.
I had a feeling this excited you most, Robert. Why?
When you go downtown, to be honest, the tenants have faced extreme exploitation.
Yes.
By the landlords. From paying in a foreign currency, when the dollar depreciates, they want local currency. You see, when it rises, now they want to pay in dollars.
Yes.
They have been taking these people that they build these buildings for people to occupy them and do business. But there is a way they have been taking them like they don't make any sense. A person pays, you don't get a, instead of getting a clear receipt, they get a business card, write on their number and sign, then put maybe a star to show you've paid.
Yes.
They have been dodging tax. They have been really, the few, you know, these arcades, these buildings, if you go downtown, the business buildings, are owned by a few people.
Yes.
That's why they tell you, the whole company is owned by, these buildings are owned by
specific number
10
of people.
Yes. And specific names.
Yes.
Specific names. But they're occupied by millions of people that come to earn a living. In the lockdown, these were treated.
Oh, yes.
They have not been working, but these were demigods. For me, if you're not paying 6 months ahead, for me, I'm confiscating. So the business community, Kasita Uganda, had craved, had prayed that one time they wake up when there is a law, and the president will thank him for having us assented to this. We hope it will bring justice and fairness.
Well, the list still goes on. We have the Appropriation Act 2022, the Value Added Tax Amendment Act of 2022. Well, you need to go and get into a read into it and see how that helps you as a Ugandan. Do not deprive yourself of all this information, because it could actually help you in one way or another. Well, we'll also take you through our story running, even if you're not getting into your work, your everyday schedule, because it's a national public holiday. Well, at least you can know what's happening around you. And I must say, today being the National Heroes Day, definitely there are people who are going to walk away champions and winners, and I'm talking about the people who will be getting those special medals that will be awarded to them by, of course, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, recognizing their work that they have contributed in different and several several other ways. Yes, honor is very important, and when it's recognized, it even goes a way ahead. My name is Philomena Mastiko, and it is a full house over here with Robert Kirabo, Nyonyintono, and Mollen Kenyena. Maybe just to start off with you, Mollen, happy National Heroes and good morning.
Well, a happy National Heroes Day to you and Robert, and of course, and say that to our viewers.
Who have done quite some major contributions. Now, these may not be known by the younger generation, and you probably don't even know where this National Heroes Day hails from, the origin, the purpose, the relevance, all that we'll be discussing with Robert. Now, this year's celebrations are going to be running under the theme, an opportunity to consolidate our efforts in securing Uganda. And of course, as stipulated in the National Honors and Awards Act 2001, the ceremony has been organized, of course, by the Presidential Awards Committee that is actually headed by the Minister of the Presidency, and that is Honorable Millie Babalanda. These ceremonial celebrations are going to be happening at the Kololo Independence Grounds, and of course, the chief guest is going to be His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is expected to be giving out 100 medals. Now, there are different types of medals, and all these will be breaking them down for you. And some of the people who have been put out, their names that have appeared on the list that are going to be receiving these medals. But Robert, before we get into all that, help us understand what Heroes Day is. Yes, we know it's about honor, it's about recognition of these people, but what is it and what relevance does it have for a country like Uganda?
One wise man once said, you cannot know where you're heading if you don't know where you're coming from. So that means that we must know the history of our country. Heroes Day, many people ask, most of that .com generation will tell you, what is its relevancy? They never witnessed what was happening, neither did I, but at least you get to read, you get to hear the stories. Maybe some people, you're victims of what happened. Like maybe you would have had some better chances, maybe you go to school, but because of the regime that was at that time, the Obote government, people who are there would tell you there were extrajudicial killings, human rights were abused like never before, and this prompted His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and others to go to the jungles of Luwero and declare war on the current government. It was on the 6th of February 1981 when Yoweri Kaguta Museveni declared a protracted war against the government then. Now, when this happened, of course, no government would welcome a rebel group.
Yes.
It will still fight, hunt to eliminate them. Now, then, the army at that time declared what they called by then an operation to hunt for the rebels that were in Luwero. And it was on this day, today it marks 38 years, since the first NRA rebels were executed in Chikandwa village in Luwero district. So what the government then did was to first carry out intelligence and find out who are these rebels, what are their movements from, where do they camp best, and they launched an operation that was aimed at liquidating, searching and liquidating rebels from Luwero, and about 15 NRA rebels plus supporters were executed in a very, very traumatizing incident.
Yes.
And one of them is Babu Mbaruta Maguzi, who it is said his head was chopped off after a number of torture to reveal where are the rebels. He knew because he was the area chairperson and he knew the area very, very well. So at night he was, it is said that at night, this was the man who would guide the rebels.
Yes.
Because he knew the geography of the place. He was very key in recruiting also, recruited a number of rebels into this group that today we celebrate. So, because he refused to tell then the UNLA forces where the rebels were, after torturing him, and of course a number of them, they were executed, they were killed, and they find it wise that we must have a day where we recognize such people.
Yes.
Of course, later on, we saw the coming in of the National Honors and Awards Act 2001.
Yes.
which now they looked at recognizing also other people. Away from those that were that fought in the bush, many of course who died, and so at one time people thought heroes are only those that have died.
Yes.
But we are seeing the likes of Enanga and many others who have received medals. When you go to these national celebrations, they usually have that on their coat, so to indicate that yes, I have a national medal. So that is the history, and it is, we believe, that such people and a few are the reasons why today we are enjoying the peace, why today we are seeing these developments, because they dared, even when it meant taking their lives, but to save others. I was reading a book and talks about the words Dutamaguzi said when he told these people that were torturing him that you will kill us,
yes,
but we shall defeat you. He told his colleagues, don't reveal where our friends are, because even if you speak, these people are going to kill us. So we better die and save others to carry on with the struggle.
All right. Now, just to break it down a little bit for you, 17 people are expected to get the Nalubale, and 18 will be awarded Luwero Triangle Medal, while 2 will be awarded for long service with Silver Police Medal, and 34 people will be receiving the 50th Anniversary Golden Jubilee Medal. We also have 5 Damo medals that will be given to the members of the military who were wounded in action or for having died in action during the liberation struggle. Now, to date, 17,226 medals have been awarded to exemplary nationals, and I mean non-nationals who deserve the recognition and labor, especially when it comes to the country like us, Uganda. Now, among the people who are going to be awarded one of these medals, we have the police spokesperson, Fred Enanga, and he was listed among the 81 people to get these medals. And I must say he's going to be rewarded with a Golden Jubilee Medal. Now, of course, there have been conversations about why is he receiving this medal, and I mean, what criteria does the Ministry of the Presidency use to get these people on the list to be rewarded? Now, when you look at Fred Enanga's case, the spokesperson of the Uganda Police, why do you think he actually deserves? Because we actually know he deserves the medal, but in your own opinion, Robert, why do you think he has to be on this list specifically for this year 2022?
First, this list has a number of categories, like you've mentioned, and each category has a group of people. When you talk about the Dama Award, which is given to a person, you must be a UPDF soldier who served and you were injured while in service. That is one. So that is a category specifically to that one. Now, Enanga, many have come to know him, that we are talking of Commissioner of Police, Fred Enanga, the current spokesperson. Many have known Enanga when he's a spokesperson. But he didn't begin as a spokesperson of police.
Yes.
Actually, he has exhibited extra professionalism in other fields. He has been in other offices he has occupied as police. Leave alone today where many are making fun of him. Yeah, if you want to learn how to lie, if you want to these funny jokes on social media.
Yes.
But Enanga was first in the Economic Crimes Department and worked, that is, as the CID commander, Kampala Metropolitan Police. Here he did a great work in terms of investigating and seeing that cases come to an end. He also demonstrated professionalism standards, that is, in terms of investigation. And one thing that I remember about Enanga is even helped recover over 12 billion under his time in office. Over 12 billion that was in fraud. You know, CID is a very critical department.
Absolutely.
Because it does the criminal investigations. And many have held this office and moved out for. Some have moved out very rich.
Without leaving a very exceptional...
Not leaving a reasonable mark.
Yes.
How much have you recovered? Because we're talking of corruption. In your term, you know, investigations are hard. In Enanga's time, he recovered over 12 billion. That were in procurement fraud. Enanga was in the lands division. Here, still, he exhibited skills of how he handles people. You know, everyone is gifted differently.
Yes.
why many people approached Enanga during that time. Enanga, it is sad to know that this man is annoyed. For us who have interacted with him for the last 8
Even
years.
amidst all these comments that are thrown at him, even the hardships that are happening
There's a way
right now.
he maintains his cool. I've dealt with him in police professional levels as a journalist, but also individually as a friend and in other areas. But you would find that he maintains that cool. And that has given him mileage over many officers, because people find him, if they tell you you're going to meet a Nanga, Nanga is a man, you will get to his office and you will first of all, very humble, never arrogant. And of course, that is why in every department he has passed through, you'll find that Enanga has been able to leave a mark. But for me, I recommend him so much when he was the CID, a commander, KPM, where he did tremendous work in recovery of money. If we can have these cases investigated, as a spokesperson, I don't think this medal, in my opinion, maybe is coming because he's a spokesperson. No. I don't believe that. I look at work before he became a police spokesperson. Of course, he's 2 times. Enanga first spoke to the police, then there was, I think, a reshuffle there. Then again, he bounces back as the spokesperson. Meaning he had done his job, I want to say, very better. That they found that even when at one point he was given another assignment, he was doing a tremendous work and he was brought back here. So when you look at other offices Enanga has occupied before even being a spokesperson, that is where we look at how effective has he been, and I think he has he has exhibited extra levels of professionalism, and he's worth to receive this medal under that category.
Well, other notable figures that will be awarded by the president are Joel Kakira, who donated land to government for the construction of the Mabere Health Center 3 in Shema district. And we have also Tom Olalobo, a former airline flying DC-19 aircraft. So I must say it's quite a tremendous job, or tremendous jobs that were done by all these people that received, that are yet to receive, you know, the medals, I mean, on this very special day. Now, Robert, what lessons do we take away from this? Now, speaking to the new Ugandan generation, the younger generation, because as you can see right now, the spirit of patriotism is a little bit down, especially amongst the young people. The old people understand the value of being patriotic towards a country like this and making. Oh, okay, Sam. Sam.
Because when you look at the people that have robbed this nation,
they're also old
when
people.
you look
Some
at
of the
people
old
that
people
are investigating some of these committees of parliament, I wouldn't say they are the young people.
Well, but also maybe if we're going to look at the large, at the age scope, I mean, who is an old person right now that we are talking about?
At least a person from 50?
Yes.
50, 55.
But okay, a set of those old people, some of them understand the value of being patriotic and, you know, making certain sacrifices for a country like ours that we, I mean, there is a green light at the end of the tunnel, and there are certain things that have to come along. There are certain things we have to leave behind as we're headed towards that, and this is also individual contribution. So as we can see in the history, there are people who made sacrifices, there are people who lost their lives, there are people giving up their land. I mean, what do we take away from this, especially the younger generation?
That before you ask for what your country has done for you or government, ask yourself,
what have you done for
what have you done for your country? Many times you look at government this, oh, this country, but what have you done for this country? There's a young heroine that is celebrated. She was in the Budo fire. When fire began, she did not think about herself first. She thought about saving others.
Yes.
She saved a number and she died in the fire. What does that mean? This is a person, this young girl thought of herself first. Today in Uganda, we've come at a point where God for all of us, but we are very individualistic.
Yes.
People don't care about what is going to happen for the future generation. When you talk about people like Rutamaguzi, where a big chunk of this story of Heroes Day originates, this is a man who could disclose where the then rebels were. And maybe, who knows, even the current commander or what would have been held, and maybe this whole version could have come to an end. But he said, for us, we are going to die. But those that will live will continue with this good cause. Today, those people are very few. Noting that if I'm given an opportunity to serve, to deliver, I should do this at my best for the better of Uganda. We have a hero who died in Lacho Hospital in the days of Ebola. This was a doctor. That even service beyond self. It is risky, but Ebola is not like COVID, that we had gotten so much experience in handling some of these diseases. But when you look at the list of these heroes, many of them from the Bush War, from those that have made breakouts in science, and I'm happy when they began categorizing them, that they don't only look at those who fought the Bush War heroes, but they bring in other people. That we must learn to love our country and think beyond self. Philo, today people are so self-centered that we begin thinking for this country,
yes,
and the generations to come after us. That you know, change can begin with you. That you say, no, this money is meant to do this, let it do it. This person is a criminal, I'm a judge, I'm a CID officer, I'm not going to get money to protect this thief. Because I'm setting a precedent that another person will learn that you can eat money and the thief is set free. The corrupt person is set free. So it all goes back to loving one's country. The original, the heroes, the Bush War heroes, it was the love they had for their country. Everything is out of money. These guys went to the bush, some abandoned jobs, good jobs, yes, and said no. For generations to come, we must see this come to an end. Some were RDCs, the term by then I've forgotten how they were called. They went to the bush. Others were at university. They went to the bush, not because they were going to get money.
Yes.
Even someone voting for you wants money. And money will bribe them to give you a vote, and they bring a useless character.
Yes.
In some position, who can't even, who can discuss anything.
But because they had the ability to give them, these soft necessities and money.
Yeah, these heroes never thought of money.
Yes.
Maybe the current government will even give them better opportunities. But they said, let's go, let's ensure we save our country. So the lesson this generation learns is loving your country beyond self, sacrificing for others, but also knowing that whatever you do today should make Uganda better.
Now, you did mention something about individualism. Right now, when we look at our Uganda, I must say it's a vice that has eaten up quite the biggest part of the population. Would you say it's the major reason as to why right now Ugandans are, thinking about themselves and they cannot come out to do a lot for their country, make all these sacrifices? So would you say the individualistic vice that has cropped up in Uganda is the biggest reason that accounts to why we're not seeing people getting out of their comfort zones and making very big strides, especially towards the development of the country, aside from, being disgruntled and complaining here and there? Would you say that being individualistic,
coupled with monetarization of everything, that today you can buy political support, and people will support you, and they will even tell you,
yes.
So they are sending you to a position where they know you're not going to deliver, you're going to do a disservice to this country, but because you've given them money, they will do that. That today, money can do anything. Now, we've seen learned people with a lot of knowledge, wisdom, with a lot of credentials, academic credentials and qualifications.
Yes.
Acting nonsensical. Making statements, and you feel like every bit of hair on your head is moving away because of money. So being individualistic coupled with money are the problems you're having this time round.
I actually also want maybe to add on to that, Robert, when we come to being individualistic. I want to believe there are certain underlying issues that have caused people to be individualistic. You did talk about money, I mean, which also covers part of corruption. I mean, when you're a younger generation or when you are a citizen and you're seeing your leaders, they are not giving you accountability for the funds, they are not, they are misappropriately, they are using those funds in ways that are just not right, in unscrupulous ways. I mean, the head of the state, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, will give directives. This money should go to help the specific people. But the people that are supposed to ensure that that directive is put into order and into action, it's just wrong. They are taking away funds. And I mean, even bad leadership in some of these. When you look at several MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies, you find that the leaders who are there, they will be put into power because we believe they have the capacity, the authority, and to do what they're supposed to be doing, and some of them will fail. And I mean, not once, not twice, we've heard His Excellency say that, listen, these people, I put them into the positions of responsibility because I believe they can deliver. I believe we're on the same page. And he even points out, he has talked about corrupt officials not once, not twice, day in, day out, which still remains a big problem. So I want to think that, yeah, there is definitely that spirit of individualism that has come through, but there are also other underlying issues that could be pushing this. Well, I don't know how we're going to get rid of that, but the sooner we do it, maybe the better. Maybe we can be able to try and
for me,
Philo, the spirit of...
before we end this,
yes.
As I was thinking about Heroes Day celebrations today, I was reading some book. It is written by someone called Haji Dirisa Sedunga. It's not yet matured, but it's a pamphlet. And one of the things I note in this book, this man narrates the war. He narrates the war, he quotes other people, the likes of Haji, Abdul Naduli, and so many. And they give reasons why they went to the bush. My humble prayer is that every Ugandan that is well versed with this history of our country, on what led His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and others that believed in this cause to go to the bush, we should do our best not to have a repeat of those situations.
Yes.
Today we have people that are abusing authority because someone is appointed in some area, and this cause continuous anger to the people, frustration to the people. We must ensure that at no time, just as it is written in the preamble of our Constitution, that at no time should we do things, should we create an atmosphere that can lead to exactly what happened by then.
Yes.
Twewale okola ebintu ebizaawo embeera ng'eyaliwo mu kaseera kali eyaleetera abaaliwo okwekyawa ne bakola bye baakola. I think it's the biggest lesson. And when I look at our theme, an opportunity to consolidate our efforts in securing Uganda, I'm like, thank you, people who thought of this theme. Securing and consolidating the efforts, so that what we have, we keep and add on to it, but at no point should we engage a reverse gear.
Indeed, one step forward, two steps backwards is not the way to move, especially for a country like ours, very beautiful with quite a number of surplus things that we need to see ourselves get into a better economy and a better political stature in a better economical stature. So yes, we have to make sure we do all that it takes, make the necessary sacrifices for your country. And I mean, you can always have the honor, even by the way, when you're not awarded these medals, it just has to be within you to be very grateful and also do all you have to do. Well, that's it from this morning's newsreel, and just to remind you, our poll question is still over there, and we expect you to share with us who your hero for this year 2022 is and why they are your heroes and heroines respectively. We'll be back with the press review to see some of the headlines in our papers, that is the New Vision and the Daily Monitor, coupled with the Daily Nation. Good morning, Uganda.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me.
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tom Feda, refrain from unnecessary engagement with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where the stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Hey, it's time to play. Let's go! We're glad you came because we love to share. Let's have some fun. What should we try next? With everyone, because we love to learn together, making new friends forever. Sesame Street friends.
The Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is back on Sunday, 3rd July 2022 at Lubiri Mengo. This year, the run will be physical and will be flagged off by Sabasajja Kabaka at 7 a.m. Come out in large numbers once again to Lubiri Mengo. Run for a cause to fight and end HIV by 2030. Buy your ticket today at 15,000 Uganda shillings from Airtel shops at Tobani Center, New Taxi Park, ShopRite Building, Benchwanka Street, Majestic Brands Office at Bulange Mengo. You can also buy your ticket using Airtel Money. Dial *185*5#. Select Payments, select Kabaka Run, and follow the prompts to complete the payment. Kabaka Birthday Run 2022 is brought to you by UNAIDS, CBS, BBS, and Airtel, the smartphone network.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, in the press review this morning, starting off with the new vision, government names new roads to be tarmacked, and they gave quite a list, over 38 infrastructure projects to benefit from the new funding. Now, this story is on page 16 of the new vision, and still in more news, Muhoozi delivers Museveni message to Uhuru Kenyatta. And how security guard got first-class degree. This is quite a people story that you need to read and see. Heroes Day, police, prisons, officers to get medals. Catch up on that list on page 7 of the new vision. And of course, over 100 tenders, opportunities where you can get yourself, if you're lucky enough to be part of that world. Now, moving on to the Daily Nation, ghosts of 2017 as members of parliament reject Chebukati laws. Now, this is, of course, concerning decision 2022. Gone and gone in Entebbe, and of course looking at new poll claims Raila in a 4-point lead. New poll claims Raila in a 4-point lead against Ruto. And still giving you the numbers there, the statistics are very evident. So you have to grab yourself the Daily Nation this morning to make sure that you get a hold of all these stories and more. Well, getting into the road situation, the traffic updates this morning, I must say that I want to focus on the Kampala Central Division, and it's quite very busy despite the fact that it's a public holiday. Now, I don't know where people would be going as early as now, but I must say that it has several traffic spots that are quite heavy, and in other spots it is building up here and there. Like I said, I want to measure my focus on Kampala Central Division, and those of course in areas around the Old Chira Road, also around Kololo, around even the main road, Kampala Jinja Road, also Kampala Road, I must say. But this morning, if you're moving towards Kololo, and that is Kololo Hill, I must say that the road over there, for now, it's still navigable. You can get through it because the green lines clearly show that there is no traffic, especially around the specific areas for now. And again, you need to know that anything can change from now on. And when you are away from that, of course, after you have connected from Mawanda Road and joined on Tuchera Road as you're joining Kololo. Well, also you need to note that because we're having the ceremony of the National Heroes Day that is going to be happening at the Kololo Independence Ground, some roads definitely have to be cut off to make sure that the traffic flow is not really that complicated, and also to make sure that there is order in that place. So maybe that is a place you need to avoid this morning, just in case you don't have to be there. If you're not invited and you don't have to be there, you can always catch the details of the ceremony on UBC TV. But yes, some roads are going to be cut off, and the surrounding areas, of course, around the Kololo Independence Ground also definitely will be quite heavy with some traffic, because there are several people that will be expected to be getting into the Independence Grounds to be part of the ceremony. And around that, if you are headed towards, of course, Kampala, and you're using the main road, which is Yusuf Lule Road, I must say that there are some traffic build-ups on several parts on this road. When you look at this over here, it already shows you that there is quite some heavy traffic. So you need to also be quite you need to think hard before you join this. And of course, as you go on all the way, I must say that it's quite clear until you head towards the main road, that is the Kampala Jinja Road, and definitely you'll be finding your way around over there. But also away from that, if you're moving all the way coming in from this other side of town, as shown by this road here, still main road, using Nachivubo Road, getting from Nsambia Road, I must say the traffic is very heavy at this specific moment. Now, this is quite a very busy place. Even on a public holiday like this, they don't really understand. They will still have to work over there because they have to make the money. So right here, the traffic is very heavy, and this is around Clock Tower Post. Now, cars coming in from this side, cars coming in from this side, definitely have to join here. And I must say the traffic is really heavy. And as you go on all the way, as you're trying to join, of course, using the Entebbe Road to join the main road, which is the Kampala Jinja Road, the traffic still continues to be very heavy. And also as you're headed towards here, the traffic continues to build up, as shown by these orange spots. So I must say that this road is very busy this morning. Now, this is for the cars that are, and all the motorists, the road users who are trying to get get to the main road, and also leaving the main road using this same road. So you're not any safe whether you are joining or you are leaving. So you also need to plan very hard about that. Now, when it also comes to Duster Street, I must say it's very, very busy this morning. The red spots are very evident of that, and the traffic is building up in the parts where the traffic would ideally not be. So yes, take care of that. If that is has been your usual route, well, you need to also be wary of that. Looking at Market Street, yes, there is quite some traffic build up shown by orange here, so it shouldn't it could the traffic could disappear in a few minutes, but it could also build up. Now you have to be very careful when it comes to spots where you see these orange lines, meaning the traffic here is building, and there are chances that it could actually become heavier by the minute or even just disappear like that. So maybe when you see that, you need to start planning accordingly. And when we look at Barton Street now, this is almost close to Kampala Old Taxi Park and also cuts through Luwomu Street. It's quite very busy this morning, and it's a one-way route which definitely joins the Kampala Road, and it's very, the traffic is actually building up slowly but surely, and this is for the cars that are leaving and joining the main road. Now when you get to the main road, which is Kampala Road, of course you could decide to go all the way through William Street or even Barton Street. Now the roundabout over there is also having quite some traffic situation, so you need to think ahead. Barton Street is quite empty from this other side, and William Street, I must say, it is quite a free route for you. However, when you join Duster Street, like I did warn earlier, you need to expect the traffic over there, so you need to plan accordingly if you're going to get into these specific areas this very busy morning. Now taking you down to Nachivubo Road, I must say the traffic over there is actually very heavy, and in some other spots it's really starting to build up. This red here marks the very the intensity of the traffic in this given area, so you also need to plan accordingly. And with also this traffic building up here, there are chances that it could actually become heavier, or it could even disappear, and you find yourself in quite a freeway where you can be able to navigate without any hindrances. So yes, if you're planning to get into downtown this morning, I must say most of the roads are quite busy, and public transport is still operating. We have also private vehicles that are operating despite the fact that it's a public holiday. So don't become too comfortable thinking that because it's a public holiday, there are no cars on the road, there are no pedestrians. Well, you need to be very careful. And seeing as that we're now having speed governors getting back into the vehicles, I think this is something you need to be note of, and also shows you how much we are having this problem of accidents and losing lives, losing property. So you need to be very, very careful. Well, that's it from the traffic updates this morning, but now I definitely have to let you hand you over to Mollen to give you quite more when it comes to climate, and we'll see where it goes on. Remember, our poll question is still running, and we'll be sharing your thoughts as Good Morning Uganda still goes on.
Well, thank you very much, Philomena. Well, when you talk about climate, there are indicators of what is happening or what we're terming as climate change. There are things that we look at to indicate that the climate has been changing, and one of those have been related to oceans. Now, yesterday we were celebrating the World Ocean Day, and of course some of the challenges that have come to indicate that our oceans are depreciating, especially also contributing to what is happening with our climate. One of those is the ocean heat. There has been an increase in the heat across the oceans, and last year was actually a record high. So in 2021, the ocean heat was recorded high, that is globally, and that is one of the indicators actually that there is something is out of the ordinary. And this was highlighted yesterday as we were celebrating the World Ocean Day. Now, earlier on, as the World Meteorological Organization was giving out the state of climate, that showed 4 key aspects of how we are getting into these indicators of climate change, and one of those and was under the ocean heat, acidification, as well as some of the greenhouse gas concentrations that have been there, but also looking at what is happening with the global mean sea level. Now, the global mean sea level reached its record high as well in 2021. This is where we're breaking a lot of records when it comes to the waters across the globe. Now, what this means is that when we have more of the sea surface temperatures increasing, that is going to increase on the number of tropical cyclones that form over the oceans, the number of storms that form over the oceans, because that means it is creating enough environment or favorable environment for most of these storms to develop. And this is why the worry now is on the acidification of the oceans as well, which did reach a record high. That is, as we're talking about, most of these warmest years on record. And also what is to be noted here is that what has been contributing mostly to the acidification has been the pollution, especially when we talk about plastic pollution. This is one of the issues that are happening across the world, not just, you know, in developing countries, but also developed countries. The dumping of plastics in oceans has been a major factor in contributing to the acidification, not forgetting the pollution that comes, of course, from industrial waste that obviously make their way into the oceans. And this is why this is being put on a high alert, because at least the statistics that we have are showing much more of what is happening in terms of the warming trend. And this is something that should be worrying us as well. We have to remember that also greenhouse gas concentration did reach a new global record high. That was in 2020. But obviously there has been an increasing trend when it comes to greenhouse gases. We're talking about dangerous gases like the carbon dioxide. Now, why this is a concern is that these gases are trapping heat within the atmosphere, and that is how we arrive into conclusions of temperatures rising, because this heat is not getting away, and it is because we continue to put those gases into the atmosphere. And actually that also aligns to the report that did come out recently, that is from Copernicus, some of the images and satellites that do keep track of what is happening across the globe in terms of air temperatures. Now, this anomaly was actually generated for this for last May, that is May 2022, looking at how far we've come in terms of global temperature rise. And what is highlighted, I want to focus mostly on Africa. You would see that the Greater Horn of Africa is in orange colors there. That is mostly indicative of the fact that we're having more warming over the area. And you can see just a few areas within Africa, mostly highlighted. That is parts of East Africa as well. That takes in areas of Somalia, where we currently even have a drought there. Then that takes in parts of Northern Africa, where you see those orange colors. Those have been highlighted as most places that have had more increase in temperatures, and that is one thing to look out for. But also remembering that we've been having these anomalies over time, except that, you know, people have tried to make them normal. It's not normal, because we have seen that mostly the central part of Asia has been dealing with a lot of extreme weather events, and recently we just came from some of the heat wave across India and Pakistan, but those areas have also been highlighted there as some of the warmest areas across the world. But now we're seeing highlights of the Greater Horn of Africa that is being highlighted as the fastest warming areas. And we have to remember that the 5 warmest years on record have actually happened beyond 2000, and that was, of course, compared to the baseline, which is within the 1880s. And that is how you're seeing that we're getting into a bad place. And getting rid of these temperatures means that we have to change course of what we're doing, and of course go into the commitments that have been done around climate action, which is not something that countries have taken serious over time. And obviously as we head for COP27, that is one thing that needs to be addressed on how countries are handling this, because it doesn't make sense for us to keep saying this is what is bringing temperatures to that level, and again there is nothing done in preventing it or making sure that it doesn't happen. Well, but we're still hopeful, because there is still a window to actually change course and get into a good place when it comes to these rising temperatures. Talking about temperatures, we do have a forecast that is for 8th to 15th of June. And that is in terms of temperatures, of course, coming in from ICPAC, that is the East African body that deals with climate prediction and the Climate Prediction Center. Well, what is highlighted in blue colors there, those are the areas that will be having a little bit of cold weather across Uganda, and of course highlighting East Africa as well. And I'll tell you one thing, even for today, you will be seeing that temperatures are quite low. And also throughout last night, most areas within the country were dealing with quite some low temperatures. Now, that is highlighted mostly for the southern sector, as well as parts of Mount Elgon Highlands. But over to northern Uganda, where there are yellow colors there, and of course in white, that is indicative of quite some moderate temperatures. Most of those will be going at least within 20 to 24, where you have yellow, that is 24 to 28, and those are the warm temperatures that are expected across northern Uganda. But otherwise, those in blue are indicative of quite some low weather in terms of temperatures, and that will be between 16 to 20 degrees centigrade. So most likely we might be dealing with quite some cold weather for the next couple of days. And of course, in terms of the total rainfall that is expected across the region, that is also for 8th to 15th. What is highlighted from ICPAC is also showing that we might be having most of the rains across the northern part of the country. That takes in the Karamoja region as well, and the Mount Elgon Highlands, where we do have areas of Mbale that extends to Bududa as well. And part of that to eastern Uganda, areas of Soroti, Amuria could be dealing with more rains compared to the rest of the country. Now, where we will have a reduction is actually across the western part of Lake Victoria. We're seeing those quite white colors. That is areas of Rengo, Masaka, Zimbabwe, that area extending all the way up to southwestern areas of Mbarara, that will be going to Kisoro, Kabale. We might be dealing with quite a reduction in wet weather activities. However, what is highlighted in orange and yellow, that means we'll be having moderate rains, and of course that is showing within the ranges of 30 to 50 millimeters of rainfall. But again, what is highlighted over Karamoja and eastern Uganda, and of course parts of West Nile, is mostly going to be around 100 to 200 millimeters of rainfall. So at least that is hopeful that our rainy season is performing, our season is performing, especially for northern Uganda and eastern Uganda, because those are the areas that were highlighted to be having quite, a sizable amount of rainfall for the month of June up to August. And we just came back from a climate outlook forum that is still indicative of the fact that northern Uganda and eastern part of the country will be picking up in terms of rainfall for the coming month. And of course, that is talking about June, July, and August, and obviously still performing. And we do know that those rains will be coming through. But taking a look at the situation for now, that is from a satellite overlooking Uganda, and we'll be taking it off from the UMISA satellite, indicating mostly cloudy weather across the country. Looks like much of the country is having cold and quite cloudy weather, and we do have developments in terms of wet weather activities. We might be looking at rains later as the morning progresses. Much of that is towards the western part of Lake Victoria. We do have that system that is starting to develop towards areas of Masaka that will be bringing in rains later as the morning progresses. But for now, it looks like much of the country is having mostly cloudy weather. Where you see the white colors within the map, that is indicative of the cloudy weather. But however, most of those will be developing into rainy conditions. We'll be taking a look into a forecast for this morning, and that is coming in from the Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Also take a look into those numbers. Now, the western parts of Lake Victoria, where we have Masaka, Kalisizo, Zimbabwe, and Rakai, we're already seeing those rains coming through from a satellite. Now that will be continuing into your morning, starting off with a chilly 24 degrees. Now the eastern parts of Central, where Woblenzi, Bururi, Nakaseke, we do have Nakasongola in that category as well. We are forecasting a mix of clouds and sunshine, and temperatures will be at a low 23 degrees centigrade. That is going to feel quite cold for your morning over there. Now across the central parts of northern Uganda, where we have Jumani, Gulu, Kitgum, and Padel, we are forecasting isolated showers. Those will be coming in for this morning. Also starting off with quite a cool day at 25 degrees centigrade. Now across the southwestern parts of the country, we're forecasting intervals of sunny and cloudy conditions. We already have those clouds over the area. We do expect a little bit of sun to come through as the morning progresses, also starting off with a cool 25 degrees centigrade. Now, across the Mount Elgon Highlands, where we have Mbale, Bududa, Boko, and Sironko, we're forecasting a mix of clouds and sunshine. And also, that is starting off with quite a chilly 23 degrees centigrade. Most likely, that will continue into the afternoon, where we still do expect some quite cold weather over that area, with some of the rains expected to come through as we head towards evening. Now, across the eastern side of Lake Victoria, we do have Tororo, Busia, Iganga, and Jinja. We're forecasting isolated showers. Those will be coming in later as the morning progresses, starting off with a chilly 24 degrees centigrade. Now, eastern Uganda, where we have Soroti, Katakwi, Amuri, and Kumi, we're forecasting a mix of clouds and sunshine as well, starting off with a cool 24 degrees centigrade, but we do expect temperatures to pick up later in the afternoon, and much of that sun will be also sticking around, especially for areas of eastern Uganda. Now, across the central part of Lake Victoria, we do have those rains in the forecast. Those will be coming in as the morning progresses, but also starting off with a cold morning at 23 degrees centigrade. But we do expect some of those rains also to cross over into the afternoon, and that will be also keeping temperatures quite down for much of the day. And obviously that that adds to the cold nights that we have been experiencing, especially for the southern part of the country. Now, that comes in as we have some of the systems that are changing, moving from a rainy season into a dry season. Obviously that is going to create a little bit of systems that will be influencing the weather in this transition, and of course that is why we're seeing changes within our temperatures, not forgetting some of the tropical storms and of course those frontal systems that do form over the oceans of Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. That contributes a lot in terms of the temperatures that do happen across the country for this time of the year. But obviously we'll be keeping you with updates that is during our morning show here. Well, leaving you at that, we'll be having Good Morning Uganda agenda coming up, and later we'll have sports update. Also later than that, we'll be having Good Morning Uganda Extra. My name is Mollen, Kenyena, wishing you a lovely morning.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Hey, it's time to play. Let's go! Be glad you came. Because we love to share. Let's have some fun. What should we try next? Everyone. Because we love to learn together. Making new friends forever. Sesame Street friends.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is fruity awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
Welcome to English in a Minute. Window dressing is arranging products in a store window to make them look nice and appealing.
Window dressing.
Anna, I just invested in this great new company, and you should too. It's a sure thing. And look at all the free stuff you get.
Oh,
You should be careful, Jonathan. All that free stuff could just be window dressing.
No way. The stock is doing great. Oh no, it's down 5 points from yesterday.
Well, at least you got a free bag and a hat.
Window dressing is meant to attract customers. That's okay for a store. But in daily life, window dressing makes something seem better than it really is. As you might expect, we mostly use this expression in a critical way. And that's English in a minute.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Everybody, Go TV. This is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Ugandan shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello?
This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera. Refrain from unnecessary engagement with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, Uganda. Agenda is officially in, and thank you for joining us. Just in case you have just come in right now, I am Philomena Mastiko, and again, happy National Heroes Day. Of course, we are celebrating the people who gave their lives, the people who gave up what they had to make sure that Uganda prospers. And we expect His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni definitely to be giving away about 100 medals today at the Kololo Independence Grounds to
heroes and heroines of Uganda, respectively. Now, on our poll question, we did ask what you actually think, or who is your hero this year. And some of you have come in with your thoughts. And from you, Derek, you're saying that since this month of June is dominated by our holy Ugandan martyrs, I consider them my heroes because they chose to shed blood than denouncing Christ. Thank you so much. And you go on to say, imagine Christianity without martyrs. That's why they were elevated to the level of saints, and they're already in heaven interceding for us as a country. Thank you so much, Derek. And keep your thoughts coming in, of course, on our WhatsApp number. You can use the same number for a text message as well. You can also use the hashtag UBCGMU. Now, before we get into the discussion, we do have quite a Heroes Day message for this specific year, 2022, coming in from General Ellie Tumwine. Now, of course, you know him as the man who served as a commander of the National Resistance Army all the way from 1984 to 1987. And again, he is one of the longest or the highest ranking members of the Ugandan military. Now, indeed, as we always preach about Heroes Day, I want you to sit and think to yourself, what is the most that you have given to your country before you ask for it to surrender or to give you what you wanted to give you? What have you done for the country? Definitely, that is what I'll be leaving you with. But also, I will be sharing the message from General Ellie Tumwine just in a few. What does he have to tell us as the Ugandans? Of course, that is in regards of the National Heroes Day 2022. Now, like we did say, the president will be giving away about 100 medals to different people in different categories. And just to take you through, 17 will be getting Nalubale and 18 will be awarded a Luwero Triangle Medal, while 2 will also be awarded for long service with silver police medal. Now, 34 people will receive the 50th anniversary Golden Jubilee Medal. Well, right about now, we'll be getting into the music that clearly says much about the Uganda National Heroes Day, and later on we'll be sharing with you the message from General Ellie Tumwine in regards of the Uganda National Heroes Day 2022. Good morning.
Mastiko, orokuranira kununule gwanga. Awatuzere gwanga, kamba bulire mwena. Twamara emyake tano musiko, orokuranira kununule gwanga. Abantu banjinyo, ababonye bambi.
Old people, some of them understand the value of being patriotic and, you know, making certain sacrifices for a country like ours that we, I mean, there is a green light at the end of the tunnel, and there are certain things that have to come along. There are certain things we have to leave behind as we're headed towards that, and this is also individual contribution. So as we can see in the history, there are people who made sacrifices, there are people who lost their lives, there are people giving up their land. I mean, what do we take away from this, especially the younger generation?
That before you ask for what your country has done for you or government, ask yourself,
what have you done for
what have you done for your country? Many times you look at government this, oh, this country, but what have you done for this country? There is a young heroine that is celebrated. She was in the Budo fire. When fire began, she did not think about herself first. She thought about saving others.
Yes.
She saved a number and she died in the fire. What does that mean? This is a person, this young girl thought of herself first. Today in Uganda, we've come at a point where God for all of us, but we are very individualistic.
Mastiko olokulanira okununula eggwanga okusosola mu mawanga okulowoleza mu bibiina okutugumbula abantu ebyo bye twajjawo abatuuze b'eggwanga kambawulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga abatuuze b'eggwanga kambawulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga abantu bangi nnyo ababonyebonye bambi NRM bakakasa nti ejja kubaja mu bizibu abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga okusosola mu mawanga okulowoleza mu bibiina okutugumbula abantu ebyo bye twajja okumalawo abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga obuyenguzi n'obubi n'okutemula abantu okulowoleza mu madiini ddala ddala ffe tujja kubimalawo abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka etaano mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga
9th June is Uganda's National Heroism Day, which we celebrate every year, and we do it for a purpose. And perhaps the important question could be, what are we celebrating, or who are we celebrating? We are celebrating Uganda's heroes, those who caused the change, the course of history for the better for our country. Those few special people who caused the course of history to change for the better for Ugandans. And far back, as King Kabarega, who resisted colonialism by putting up a very tough fight, Ignatius Musazi, who started political organization, resist colonialism and fight for independence. Then Kiwanuka, who stood for democracy and was killed for it. And all those were the men who sacrificed to change the country's bad, to remove the bad regimes of our history, which were really taking the country back against those who fought and sacrificed against Idi Amin, against the Vote, against the regimes that followed, until the situation was changed. The Force Maroon, from NASA, NRA, NRM, and up to, of course, President Museveni, he had that, and many of his colleagues, and many of those who continued sacrificing in bringing about positive change. And in all other sectors, in health, like Matthew Kuya, who was an example, with others who stood against Ebola, and others who fought against HIV, Marburg, and different epidemics. And the recent one has been Corona. And many special people, you know, we have been awarding medals to those heroes every year and in different occasions. So we are celebrating these people for the young people, for the society to know who are these people that cause positive change for the people of Uganda have a better life at a high cost to themselves, at a high sacrifice. And perhaps then you could say, ask the question of who is a hero? How does one become a hero? Now, as I have said, that heroes are those who change the course of history for the better. That must be always very important. Don't just bring change for the sake of bringing change. It must change for the better. And by their own sacrifice, by their own willingness to pay the ultimate price, which is, if it is to die, let me die, but for the better of my people, for the betterment of my society, for the betterment of my country. And they are willing to sacrifice and offer the ultimate price, give whatever it takes. And those, by their own thinking and action, they save the day. Those who save the day, those who make the day for the others. Even you can be a hero for somebody by saving that day for him. On that day, you will have been his or her hero or her heroine. So that's important on who is a hero. And then we can go to how can we promote heroism. But perhaps if I may go further to what are the characteristics of heroes, when we answer this question of who is a hero, they must have special values which are clearly known and who inspire others to become heroes. It involves courage, it involves bravery, it involves moral integrity, it involves conviction, it involves honesty, willingness to protect others, and self-sacrificing. And it is conducting yourself in fulfillment of a higher purpose or a noble cause or a noble end. You can't just be a hero if there is no good purpose. And it is for those whose achievements and qualities are seen in the ideal public, as ideal in the public. What they do, what they think, what they act on is seen as ideal in the public. And how do we, if you give examples, for example, what are the examples of such acts of heroism? A fireman. The example, a fireman who goes in the fire to save a child at a great risk and rescues that child and gets her or him out. Or a doctor who offers his life even if it means he may die, and some have died, but they offer their service. That is a good example. Or a soldier who commits his life, and some are died, and some are injured, and some bleed, and some pay the ultimate, they pay a high price for the sake of others. Those are the examples of heroism. So courage, bravery, fortitude, and selfishness, selflessness, and genuinely being a good person. You know, a hero must be a very, very good person that calls on all the others to serve others and help others. And then we could also use the day on how do we promote heroism, because it is important that we should see that heroism is promoted to our children, to our younger generation. And we do it by fostering that their heroic imagination. First of all, every person has capacity to become a hero. You tell your friend that you have a capacity to become a hero. Everyone has a capacity to become a hero. So we need to really foster their heroic imagination. We need to give them confidence that they have power to change things for the better. And they should be an example, or we should be examples, or their model, which they should copy. That's one of the best ways of promoting heroism, so that they look up to you, and you do it also by not necessarily promoting or emphasizing on the achievement, on the outcomes. No, you don't play the outcomes, but you work for the highest achievement in the best way possible. You raise the expectations that young people will have the courage to act heroically. We need to encourage young people to know that if you act heroically, you can change your situation, you can change the situation of your country and of your society. We need to encourage people to do what needs to be done without being noticed for selfless action. People always want, heroes don't do things so they are seen. No. Even if they are not seen, you can do what is for the good of your country. If you are seen, you are seen. If you are not seen, you still do it. Now, that's how heroes inspire others, by being good examples in cherished values, displaying what people admire, and they show others how to overcome challenges. And they call on all others, as I'm calling upon you. You're calling upon all of you to make sure that you act heroically for the good of your country and you pay the necessary price. Now, heroes are not born, they are made. Everyone is born anyway, because everyone is born. But there is a need for us at an individual level, by choice, to choose to determine to be a hero. It's not something that will be spread to you from the neighborhood. You must have the choice, you must have the determination, and that's why there is a need sometimes to prepare the mindset for being a hero. It depends on what preparation you've got, what values you stand for, what society you've grown in, and therefore that can help you to prepare your mind to become a hero or a heroine and make a sacrifice, make a contribution that will change the course of history of your country. I want to congratulate all those heroes, all those medalists, all those who have not, the known and unknown. There are many silent heroes down there. There are many silent heroes in our homes. There are many heroes in our workplaces. There are many heroes in our society. There are many heroes in our environment who are fighting for the betterment of the others without being noticed, without being paid, but they do it because it is for the good of the others. There must be empathy and kindness. There must be willingness to help others on a daily basis. Do your best. Recently, I was asked how I was celebrating my birthday, and they said, what would you tell the world at this age? And I said, what a joy it is to love what you do and do what you love, which make you do your best and let God do the rest. Heroes, heroines, all great people, let us do our best and let God do the rest. I wish you a happy celebration. God bless you.
That is the Heroes Day message from General Ellie Tumwine, and the theme and opportunity to consolidate our efforts in securing Uganda. Of course, we are celebrating even in the spirit of the fallen comrades in the Bush War heroes, in the fallen comrades of the Bush War. And in the song, we actually saw quite a list of all these fallen heroes that did a great role. And among them, we saw Major General Ali, we we saw Lieutenant Colonel George, we saw Lieutenant Colonel Vincent, Brigadier Area Kategaya, we did have General Nyakirma, we had Brigadier Noble Mayombo, Honorable Captain David Chibirango. The list was endless. And of all these people, when you look into them and what they did, this is actually in line of what the General has been talking about. They did sacrifice their lives, they did what they had to do, and they changed the course of history for the better of Uganda. Right now we are thriving on their sweat and on their blood, which is quite interesting. But I must say this to you, Robert, and he did say that you have the capacity to be a hero. He did ask us to tell each other, and I'm telling you that. I don't know if you know you have the capacity to be a hero right now, but I believe you do have the capacity. He did quite share a lot of things that are very insightful, I must say, and I picked a number of things that he did make mention of. But before I get into that, what was the most outstanding message for you in all that he said?
Calling upon heroes and heroines to ensure they pass on the mantle the next generation, because he said heroes are also nurtured. You know, heroes can also be mentored. Today, every day, we are lacking people that are viewing Uganda in the way that those people did view Uganda. One of my heroes in that list is Major General Muhammad Seguya. This was the first commander of the National Resistance Army. Yes. And that was between 1981 to 86. But he died shortly because of a stomach alignment. And very interesting, his body was preserved by a group of collaborated doctors for the next 10 years. He was buried in 1992 when he was given a befitting send-off. So one of the things when you listen, when you read about these heroes is they did it for the love of their country. And of course, the frustrating situations that were at that time, that they felt if it is not them, then who will do it? Today, we look at someone can do it. Someone will do it. To have hopes in another person to cause that transformation. It is you. Ellie Tumwine was very clear. It is you. You can also be that hero in the field of medicine. You've had heroes. I earlier talked about a doctor who died while treating Ebola patients in Lacho Hospital. Yes. That is Gulu. Yes. I told you of a young girl in Wudo, a junior school, who died. She's a heroine because she first thought of others because first she was out, but she was running, pulling out her colleagues. You know, we've had heroes in the business sector. Great men who have created jobs, the likes of the late Mulwana. Yes. That when you talk about Uganda that have excelled, the likes of Wavamuno, people who they can trace and say, ono sente yakola nkole, era yazikola, mu mazima amatufu. Dr. Matthew Lukuya. Yes. That is the person I was referring to. That this man put his life to save others. The number of heroes. We have people, they may not have yet been recognized. But this man of Jenna, Dr. Is it Professor Peter Zitogwang of COVID? Yes. You know, that in this line of science, these are people who have gone first. So when he says you can be a hero, the good thing is heroes are not only those that have died. No, even up there, His Excellency is going to give medals to people who are alive, they are living. Yes. But because of their tremendous sacrifice and service to this country, they have become heroes. As still, we have even heroes in the music industry. Absolutely. People who transformed. There was a time here in Uganda it was only Congolese music. But there are those that said, no, we can change this. And now they began raising the bar to the levels it has gotten to. So in very many fields, you can be a hero. You may not be recognized nationally that you have that medal, but you can live that life. And that's what he was talking about, where he said that sometimes you need to do these things selflessly. The things that are supposed to be done, you do them selflessly. Now, either with people seeing you or without people seeing you, you are still doing it. And he quite mentioned a very serious issue here. And he said, listen, for you to be a hero, it also matters the values that you stand for as an individual. Right now, when you look at the contemporary
society, I don't think the values that several of us stand for definitely would make us heroes or heroines, but we have the capacity to change that. We cannot be very static when it comes to the values. You look at life or, you know, the country from a different point of view. And he also even mentioned that the society you have grown in influences you. And I think it also cuts across to the point that you raised, that heroes are nurtured, just like he said. When you look at our society, Robert, honestly speaking, I must ask, do you think they are raising people who could become heroes and heroines, whether they have already gone or whether they are still alive? Because the society, like the general said, the society has quite a very heavy influence on how you view the world. So the current society that we are in right now, the people we are raising, the people who are living in it, the contemporary society, do we see heroes and heroines in here?
I don't think the heroes we see or shall have in the near future will be because of society. There will be people who are self-made, and it's not the impact of the society they have grown up with.
Yes.
Grown in, because previously, if a person gotten a job and maybe in a year goes back to the village, everyone would look at that person as a thief, driving a Porsche car, builds a very big house, you know, lavish house. The family would have to explain to the village, that society was still having issues of morals. You get it?
Yes.
You know, even people would shun that family. They'll think maybe sometime he's going to be arrested. We don't want to associate with you. If someone did something seen as abominable,
yes,
in society, people would reject that person. They would shun you. You'd become a societal reject. Today, a young man just got in a job, working, building. Society has gotten that way. Today, a father who will sleep with a daughter or do funny, abominable things in society, Sanga, because he can fundraise,
yes,
everyone wants to invite him for a fundraising drive, including the church, because they know when that one comes, they will give us something to help to aid our fundraising. So today's society, what our values have turned into, it all rotates, begins and ends with the money. So they could be, if any, very few were society. Most of these will be self-made. That's why you see now, you're going to have those that have shown extra exemplary service in professional fields.
Yes.
Yeah? That's why you'll have in science, someone reads their books, they do their research, then they get to that level, you know? That's why you see in police, long-serving. This has been at a job, long-serving. That is why you see the Dama Award, where someone at maybe frontline, people who've been in Somalia, then you're injured, or, you know, and you're leaving. So you see even the category is that many of them now, you see that it is personal effort, not so much of society. So nurturing and mentoring the living heroes, there are not very many if you are to go to the Bush War heroes, but those that are living or that have attained this level must find out carrying on these values that they stood for at a time that they dared the undareable and went to the bush. What is that took them? When the general was speaking, you would see passion in him saying, you know, doing things not to be recognized.
Yes.
If you're recognized, okay.
And I think that's like one of the biggest problems, because right now, I mean, in this generation, everybody wants to be recognized for what they do.
Even have the term of Funirawa.
Yes, how am I benefiting from this? Is this actually going to be very beneficial for me? If there is nothing for me, then definitely there is no use for me to indulge myself or do whatever I have to do, which is really killing the whole spirit of heroism and sacrifice and honor. Honor is quite something very huge to, you know, own. It's very hard. You have to really get out of your comfort zone and do the things that very other few people can do. And I mean, we're having a conversation, especially about and the late heroes that we did see being displayed on the screen. And we're talking about how some of them even left their major responsibilities that they were doing and decided that, look, we need Uganda to be in this kind of state, and we need it to take this specific direction. However, we cannot get there if certain things are not done. Now, the things we are talking about, of course, definitely had to encroach on their privacy, it had to encroach on their rights, it had to encroach on anything and everything that was making their life much better. Uganda, how many people would actually now go to the bush and decide to do what it has to do to make sure that the country is in a better...
Well,
Not that we want to get back to the bush, but I'm saying, I mean, going as far as that.
One of the things we must note at this time as we celebrate the likes of Lutamaguzi is the situation by then wasn't very favorable. But people had options. There are those that chose to go to exile.
Yes.
Nairobi, the land they did. Boba again exile. They left Uganda. There are those that chose to move with the tides. Today, Baduka Rutaro, they have luggage, they're in Masaka, they are here. Those that chose to be that. Then there are the people we are celebrating today that said enough is enough. So there were two categories of Ugandans. Those that left Uganda, ran away from the tyranny and whatever was happening.
Yes.
Those that decided to stay, but weren't part of the struggle. Because this movement, mostly in Central, people knew Gundi atwala abantu mu buyekera. Gundi, you know, and if you wanted to, you would not fail to get a connection to go and be part of this. Then those are decided.
Yes.
So the reason why we are celebrating these people is that among the three categories I've mentioned, for them they said no. I told you some left campus, some had jobs, some were doctors. When we talk about some were magistrates, you know. When you talk about a lady like Honorable Janet Mukwaya.
Yes.
These people had good jobs, the likes of Honorable Chipirango, the late one of the heroes you've seen on the screen. These were like RDCs already. Some were fairly positioned, but they said no, let's go. We may live and see the fruits. We may die, but if you have victory, those that come after us will enjoy what we went through. Of course, many did not make it, but the few that made it now can tell the fruits of those that were lost during this struggle.
We are talking about Heroes Day 2022, and this is in relation to the message that came in from General Ellie Tumwine, who did share with us some of the wise words. And indeed, we saw also quite a number of our fallen heroes, although we still have some of them that are still living, and we celebrate them every now and then. But today we give
the likes of General Kahindo Tafire.
Exactly. They were all part of it.
Salim Saleh.
Salim Saleh, yes. So there were very many who contributed a lot, and we celebrate them, we recognize them. Well, the ceremony is going to be happening at the Kololo Independence Ground, and the chief guest, of course, is going to be His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda. And of course, here on UBC TV, we'll be giving you a live feed to show you how it's happening, how all the the events are unfolding. So make sure you stay here, you don't go anywhere, and catch up on the events of this very special day. And being a public holiday, you must know what is happening. Well, we do have sports updates coming in from Ruben Pima Chivirango to tell us what's happening in Uganda. How is Uganda faring? We're having the AFCON qualifiers. Well, I don't know whether it's looking good for us or not, but Ruben is definitely...
We pray we don't end in mathematics. You know, this sports mathematics has not favored us most of the times. I don't know why. For other countries it was, but for us, whenever we hear so and so, we pray beats, then for us, that's sports mathematics.
Well, as long as we don't find ourselves in a position like that. So Ruben will be here to give you all the sports updates. And again, don't forget, we'll be giving you a live broadcast of what will be happening at Kololo Independence Grounds. Well, that's it from Good Morning Uganda Agenda. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for waking up with us as early as 6 a.m. And we'll certainly be here tomorrow once again. Have a very wonderful and beautiful National Heroes Day. I want you to go and ponder upon this. How many sacrifices have you made for your country, for your society, for your community? Good morning, Uganda. I am Philomena Mastiko.
Abantu banjinyo ababonye bambi NRM bakakasanti eja kubaja mu bizibu abatuze begwanga kamba buli musiko olokuranira kununule gwanga okusosola mu mawanga okulowoleza mu bibiina okutugumbula abantu ebyo bye twajja okumalawo abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka 5 mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga okulya embuzi n'obubi n'okutemula abantu okulowoleza mu madiini ddala ddala ffe tujja kubimalawo abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka 5 mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka 5 mu nsiko olw'okulwanira okununula eggwanga abatuuze b'eggwanga kambabulire mwena twamala emyaka 5 mu nsiko olw'okulwanira